Good afternoon, everybody. Eclectic and Promptus. I hope you're having a good day today. It's awful rainy outside, a little cold too, but we need the rain. It's been a hot summer, so we're paying our dues, so to speak. So today, got a narcissistic clip. This is going to be the healing process and self care, and how to take care of yourself when you go through the healing process. That is, if you have to. And in some cases, it's unfortunate, but yeah, you have to. So first step is the healing process. So two things you can expect. It could go in any direction. So there's some you don't get dangerously attached to, and consider that a blessing if that does happen. So these narcissists, they're going to be easy to let go. Sure, you can expect rumination, maybe even some feelings of guilt if you go no contact. I've dealt with that. There's a few of those narcissists in the past that I've had to go no contact. I felt a little guilty, and I definitely did some rumination, but I got over it, and for the most part, life can continue, and I'm relieved that those jerk heads are gone. Those are that I like going through this process. Actually, the rumination and feelings of guilt aren't fun, but it's easy to get over, fortunately, and getting on with my life and going, "Yay, that idiot's gone," tends to happen. And you can consider going on with your life, and they're out of the equation, and you're good to go for the most part. Unfortunately, there's the other direction it could go down. This is especially the case if you get dangerously attached to this particular narcissist. So you get dangerously attached, and you're in the devaluation stage after the love bomb stage goes on, and you develop this thing called trauma bond. And this is where you're bonded to this narcissist, and they're dangerous and toxic and stuff, but yet you feel trapped. You feel like you can't leave. You should, but you feel trapped and you feel like you can't. And you're scared of what could happen, having to deal with the pain of losing them, whether they discard you or you do the discarding. It's your best interest, but it's hard, almost impossible, or you feel like it's impossible. And you don't want to deal with those negative feelings afterwards. So you're kind of stuck to this person because of that. And on a side note, trauma bonds are a doozy to deal with, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself and self-preservation and all that. And it's in your best interest, and it's better in the long run. Just something to keep in mind. So the narcissist relationships ends, and you're wondering, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Or what in the world just happened? And how could he, she, or they do this to me? You're going to feel betrayed big time. And other feelings: anger, hostility, irritability, even towards other people. Depression is a big one. Anxiety, hypervigilance. All those negative emotions are going to come flooding in this direction. And in the case of depression, if you're a crier like myself, expect to do a ton of crying, because it tends to be in my nature to be a crier, and the person left, or I was forced to end the relationship. I did a lot of crying. Going back to my former coworker that I thought was my ex-work bestie, who I did a lot of crying. I mean, this coworker got fired. I'm not going to say why. I was in shock. For starters, when I found out he was going to be let go, I was in extreme shock, and I went no contact. I knew I had to do that. And as soon as that was over, crying. And I spent at least a good first couple months crying just about every day. And I think it took until about July to stop crying. I mean, the crying stopped, did start to go down some in like March or April of this year, but I think it took until about mid-July before I could finally stop crying about all this. And the crying's definitely a lot better now. And I also dealt with a lot of hypervigilance and anxiety, and what if he starts stalking me, stuff like that, or hoovering. And there's been a few times this guy did hoover me, but I knew what to do. I've done some research on narcissism before he's come into the equation, and kind of had a general idea of what to do. but that's over and done with now. And, and on a good note, you might feel a little sense of relief in spite of all the negative emotions you're dealing with. And that feeling does get stronger as time goes by. You have to give it time and be patient with yourself and just in general. But relief does kind of come in the equation, and and then you can accept the fact what happened. You can't change that. You can only change what you can do in the present moment, and just live in the present moment. And in the midst of all this, you're also going to be overwhelmed with all these emotions. Even maybe not so much relief, but the other, like depression, anxiety, and so on. But just give yourself patience, give it time. You'll get there. And during the times you're feeling overwhelmed, it's not going to take much. So at this point, it's crucial to take care of yourself as much as possible. I've also heard the term self-isolation and insulating yourself, protecting yourself as much as possible. If you even, if you have to do what you need to do, like to go to work, take care of your kids, take care of your animals, and so on during this time, do what you need to do. It's not going to be easy, but you got this. I believe in you, and believe in yourself during this time. It's not easy, but it does get easier, I promise. And with the healing process, self-care is important. The narcissist put you through a lot, so you're going to be affected emotionally, mentally, physically even. I mean, when you go through something emotionally and mentally traumatic, you're affected physically too. I can speak from experience from this. I mean, your physical health will take a toll, and because you're on high alert and having to walk on eggshells while you're dealing with this person, you're going to have what is called cortisol levels, and your brain releases this chemical basically. So the cortisol levels is supposed to help out like in times of stress and stuff. However, it's only meant to be beneficial in the short term. When it's long term, it's going to mess you up in so many ways. I mean, you can get diabetes, you can become severely overweight and develop all sorts of problems like arthritis, anxiety, depression, post-traumatic, you name it. It's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. And it can affect your digestive system, your ability to sleep, how the way you function. It just affects you all around in a nutshell. So, and if you need to go out in public to run an errand or go to work or something, do what you need to do. It's not going to be easy, but you got this. And those that tell you, oh, just go out and meet new people and you'll be fine, I would advise against listening to their advice. Pay no attention to them would be my recommendation. They don't know what they're talking about. Or in some cases, they could be toxic themselves and don't want to see you succeed. But I mean, you do what's right for you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but there's no set time as to when you'll heal. It could take a few weeks. It could also take months, even years. You'll heal in your own time, and it's a gradual, not an overnight thing. Let's see what else. So only you know for yourself, and it's a learning process also along the way. And you learn some things about yourself, and something else. You might also get some light bulb moments during the healing process, like this person never cared for me. Oh my gosh, this person really wanted to take me down, and stuff like that. So that being said, I'm going to give at least roughly 10 ways, but if anybody has anything else that they would like to add, feel free to put it in the comment section. You're more than welcome to anytime. So ways to take care of yourself during this process, and these are just tips. You do what's right for you. So first of all, eat a well-balanced diet. If there's dietary restrictions, like if you can't eat bread and pasta because of the gluten, for example, don't go in that direction. Do what's right for you on this one. And be sure you're properly hydrated. If you're a crier like myself, I've read somewhere that if you have a really good cry and you're going through crying spells during this time, drink water is your best bet. I also have drank a lot of Gatorade. That also helps because of the electrolytes. But eat a well-balanced diet. Stay properly hydrated. Exercise is a big thing also. I mean, I can understand it might be hard, but even if you just walk in place or walk on a treadmill for 5 to 10 minutes, that's at least something, and then you can build up from there. Your body, when you exercise, it releases endorphins, and that's supposed to help keep you happy and Other options you could do simple exercises, yoga, tai chi, weightlifting, dancing could also help. Um, Another tip: get plenty of sleep. 6 to 8 hours, I heard, is the norm. So if you can do that, that's great. I've also been hearing a lot about journaling, and I've done this before. When I had to go no contact with my former coworker, I journaled. I journaled quite a bit, and journaled some of the incidents that happened, feelings that you're feeling. If you have nightmares, and sometimes that can be expected. I've had nightmares about my ex coworker and other past narcissists. It's not fun to deal with, but journal about those, and journal your progress. Journal about anything, basically, especially about this. Music is very therapeutic. It helps you out physically, mentally, emotionally. Listen to the stuff you like or explore new music. If anything, I have a confession of my own. So, beginning of this year, I started listening to punk music kind of as a way to ring in the 2025. I also did it as a way to cope after my ex coworker got fired. And you also see me with darker hair, sometimes dark makeup. It's also kind of a way to cope, and it's a way to symbolize that somebody like that's not going to take my power away again. You don't have to dye your hair a dark color or wear dark makeup necessarily. I mean, you got to do what's right for you on that. But for me, it symbolizes somebody like that's not going to take my power away, and I'm going to see to it from now on. Uh, in addition to music, you can also hobbies, art, reading, writing, crocheting, knitting, video gaming, whatever you got to do. It provides a temporary escape, but it's healthy and it's fun, and in some cases, it just takes your mind off of it. This is a big crucial one. Avoid alcohol and illegal substances, please. I don't want to see something happen to you guys. I care about you guys, and that's just the wrong way to go. And say you go to a bar to drink as a way to cope with this, those problems aren't going to go away. They're going to come back, and you're going to most likely have a hangover on top of that. So try to avoid that as much as possible, please. Limiting caffeine would also, that's easier said than done. Nicotine, same thing. After I got rid of my ex-coworker, or stopped being friends and associating with him, I drank 3 cups of coffee for up until the summer, actually, he put me through a lot, and I was tired and struggling with fatigue. Expect that also before I forget. I've got it down to 2 cups, but still got to keep working on it. But I drink a lot of coffee, just the high cortisol levels and feeling on high alert. I was struggling with exhaustion and fatigue, and drinking a lot of coffee just to keep me going. But it's probably a good idea not to go in that direction. But I mean, if you do, at least it's not, illegal substances or alcohol, at least. Nicotine, same thing. I'm a smoker. I've been smoking since I was 20, off and on. I switched to vaping a few years ago. So when I say smoking, I mean vaping. But yeah, if you could limit it, it would be great. But I get it. It's easier said than done. And at least they're legal substances, I suppose. So another tip, watch YouTube videos on narcissism. You can watch whatever subjects you want that interest you. It'll help take your mind off, and you're educating yourself into a positive direction. And even if it's just watching cute videos of animals, I like to do that, whether it's about pugs, French bulldogs. English bulldogs have recently become a big thing for me too. They're just so cute. And watching, other subjects, for me, it's like art history, sacred geometry, Lost City of Atlantis, the Bermuda Triangle, older computer games I used to play as a kid. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but that's something you could do. Reading about narcissism, online articles, they have a lot of information out there. That's always an option. Spending time in nature, there's something about being in nature that it helps you clear your mind. You're getting your exercise, sunlight, fresh air, and that should help. This summer, I took a lot of walks at the nature trail at school. So, and I know you guys have seen video clips on that. That's helped immensely. Meditation and/or prayer. I'm not sure what your guys' religion is, but for me, I'm a Christian. Praying helps for me, but you do what's right for you. I'm not going to force religion on anybody. That's not what my video is all about. So, doing that, meditation, talking to a therapist. I at times will talk to the school counselor at school. I don't go to a therapist necessarily, but I at least will go to the school counselor at times. And he's had a lot of experience with narcissism. And if you do go to a therapist, be sure that they have experience with narcissism. That'll help you out in the long run. So, and you don't have to follow all these tips, but these tips have helped me out, and I hope they can help you out. But if you have any other ideas, feel free to share them. And that's today's clip for the day. So don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share if you like this. Feel free to comment. Just please, nothing hateful is all I ask. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.